Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel. Today we're here in Matanceros Emergent Biopark in Jurassic World Evolution for our final episode where we're going to be taking a tour of the finished park. If that sounds good to you, feel free to like the video and of course subscribe if you want to see similar content. I mainly do Planet Zoo videos of course, but I do like to venture into Jurassic World Evolution once in a while because I love dinosaurs, and really if you don't love dinosaurs, what are you doing? Dinosaurs are the best. Anyways, let's start off our tour. Of course, we venture into the park via the monorail, emerging onto the park itself. And of course, this isn't a traditional Jurassic World Evolution park. We are using mods, of course, and the main mod we are using for this whole park is, of course, Northfire's terrain mod, which has created this lovely ground texture that we'll be using all over the park. And speaking of the park itself, let's look at our first habitat, which of course starts off with these three lovely ankylosaurs, our Euoplocephalus. There's three of them. These guys were of course introduced with the Claire Sanctuary DLC, which came out last year, about the middle of the year. Really lovely ankylosaurs, some of my favorites in the game, and I think they look great in this habitat. There's of course another one just here, but that's not a Euoplocephalus, that is our Nodosaurus, another ankylosaur, a basal ankylosaur. Also, this one came with the base game, and it's just a lovely kind of additional dinosaur that I like adding into habitats, like a lone Nodosaurus, and I have heard of dinosaurs always looks quite cool. Moving on, here we have the stars of our first habitat, the Psittacosaurus, created by Nanolucensis. This is of course a modded dinosaur, and quite possibly one of my favorite modded dinosaurs because it is quite possibly the single most accurate animal we have in the game. Because Psittacosaurus, of course, was preserved so well that we have like a really good idea of what it looked like, and this base skin is pretty much exactly how Psittacosaurus probably would have looked like in real life, which is kind of cool. We also have, of course, the alternate skins, which are the blue ones. Those look pretty good as well. I really like the contrast between the blue and the orange. I think that looks great. But as a whole, very lovely dinosaurs, and I'm really glad to have them. Of course, they do replace the Homalocephali, which is a bit of a shame because those dinosaurs are adorable and I love them. But yeah, moving on, we get to our first kind of guest plaza here, big circle right here in the middle. We got a few shops around here, a gift shop, a bar and a fast food joint. And of course, you may notice the path is not the base game path, of course. This was part of Northfire's terrain mod, and I really like the look of this new path. It just adds a lot more character, I think, to the park itself. And of course, even these little posters on the path have been replaced by the mod by Northfire, and I think it looks really good. Okay, so moving on. Of course, this park is quite a tropical one compared to our previous park build, which was New Blah. So we don't have any redwoods, but we do have a lot of these lovely trees. Again, introduced around the same time as the Claire Sanctuary DLC for free. So we have a lot of these really lovely tropical trees. And yeah, on the left we also have our hotel. We also have a path leading up to some viewing galleries for another habitat, so we'll go check that out. And we'll just hop into the viewing gallery itself, and immediately there we have it. That is an Aristeon, one of our first carnivores, created by Jagged Fang Designs, and one of the single coolest animals we have in the park. Looking at it, it is a Megaraptor, and of course Megaraptors being really strange dinosaurs. And they are tremendously beautiful. I love how they look. The coloration is astounding. The realism of them as an animal, like, that is just a really cool looking animal and very believable. I absolutely love how they look. One thing I really like is the gigantic claws, which are tremendously intimidating, very scary to look at, but they just fit, you know. This is a dinosaur, I think, which just absolutely is the pinnacle of what you would imagine a theropod dinosaur to be. Of course, lacking feathers, but because Megaraptors are so weird, it is quite possible they lacked feathers anyways. So yeah, let's just get a closer look at them. We'll have a look at the blue skin because that one is my favorite. It is really beautiful and looks so good. Yeah, there we go. That is an amazing looking dinosaur. So happy we have this in the park, and just a testament to the quality of Jagged Fang Designs' work. Their models are always really top notch and really excellent. Let's have a look from the higher up viewing platform as well. This one provides you a little bit more of a secluded view. I really like the look of it. Very nice habitat, I think. Very happy with it. Heading back onto the main path, you may notice there is a path that diverges on the side. We'll have a quick look and see where that goes. So it splits. One path heading over here to a hatchery, and the other path going all the way back here and leading to our operations center, of course, which has all the infrastructural buildings that we need: ranger stations, ACUs, expedition centers, all that stuff, even a greenhouse. I think it looks really nice. Every park needs a little bit of an operations center, and I think even if you don't need like all the buildings, I think it still looks very nice just having them there, because they look quite cool and add a lot of dimension to your park. Heading back over to the main path, now we're going to continue on further to our second plaza. On the left you may notice a little walled off section where we have one of our substations for the power grid. And yeah, we're here in our second plaza. On your right we have a few shops, toilets, and of course we have a Jurassic tour. We'll go on the tour in a second, but first off we're just going to keep moving on, and we're going to see our innovation center surrounded by a small lake. I think this looks really beautiful. I love the pathwork on the outside. I think that looks really nice. And the innovation center, I was hesitant to put it into the park, of course, because it is such a big building. But I think having a Jurassic World themed park kind of doesn't feel complete without the innovation center, so I was very happy to add it in towards the end. On our left we do see another viewing gallery, so we'll hop in there and see what we can see. And there is our Albertasaurus, of course one of our larger carnivores in the park, and again another animal that was added with the Claire Sanctuary DLC. This one of course has a newly designed skin by Northfire, which kind of makes it look a little bit more rugged, a bit more kind of weathered as an animal, as opposed to the somewhat overly smooth skin that we had with the DLC. But overall, very beautiful animal, and great work by Northfire in terms of this mod. I quite like this habitat. I love that it's at an elevation and it kind of goes from low to high towards the back of the habitat. And the one thing I also really like is this tree. I know that sounds kind of silly, but basically getting individual trees like this, which are not the placeable trees, it's very hard to do. You have to kind of click and like essentially place a forest, remove the forest until you get the perfect kind of tree structure, which was nice. We also have a viewing platform on the other end, of course, to look down into the habitat. But as a whole, quite happy with this habitat. I like the hillside vibe it has. And there we go, the Allosaurus roaring. Absolutely beautiful. Anyways, you can also walk up the side, of course. That's where most of the guests are going. You're walking up the side of the hill. Very crowded today here. We have a restaurant at the top. We also have one of the other hotels. So this is more of a hilltop kind of a place to stay. Of course, it is quite a bit elevated from the rest of the park. One cool thing is we actually have our kind of the big habitat up here for our largest carnivore, which is of course our Carnivore standing right there in perfect view for us. I believe this Carnivore was made by Zach and Off the Rails. Really gorgeous model, and just the skin I think really sets it apart, because it is a lovely beautiful skin with this again with the blue and yellow contrasting colors. I think it looks really excellent, and as a dinosaur I was very happy to have it. I don't know why it droops its tail like this a lot. I think that might just be an issue with the model, but besides that I think it's great. I love the fact that it does have a non-pronated hands, and the skull shape, everything just looks really, really interesting and makes it a dinosaur you really want to have in your park. Here we go, it's about to emerge into the sunlight, and that is a lovely, lovely view of this animal. Gorgeous carnivore. One of the largest theropod dinosaurs, of course, rivaling even T-Rex in size. Of course, being somewhat similar in body shape and body, how do I describe this, anatomy as Giganotosaurus as well. So very similar animals there. And of course that whole group of theropods are huge in general, so yeah. Moving on to our final part of the park tour, we're actually going on an actual safari tour. So let's hop into the vehicle and, well, see our animals. So yeah, here we go, we're just beginning our tour. This is going to be a very slow tour, so we'll probably swap out vehicles every once in a while. Let me just get back to where we started, actually, because I swapped out way too early. There we go. Anyways, let's switch our seats just so we're in the back here. There we go. This is a great view. First off, we have our Tyrannosaurus, of course, again introduced with the Claire Sanctuary DLC. I didn't realize we actually had all the dinosaurs from that DLC included. Very lovely dinosaurs. I really like how they look. Once again, having a new skin thanks to Northfire. Again, a much more rugged look to these animals, but one I think really helps sell their kind of their stature as a medium-sized herbivore. I really think they look quite cool. Here's one really close up. That's so lovely. I also love how chunky their tails are. They're just so cute. Very, very cool animals. And right back there we also have an Amargasaurus, one of the weirder sauropods in the game, introduced via a mod. I can't remember the name of the mod author, but of course it will be in the description. It was a lovely dinosaur to add, one of the weirder ones, and I think that really does bring a lot to the park itself. So that was it for this particular habitat. Now we will be going off into the following habitat, of course, and I'm just going to switch over to another vehicle if there is one. If not, then I'm happy to just stick with the one we had. Yeah, there's no other vehicle, so we're just going to go into that same one, and we are pretty much entering it now anyway, so we're not going to save that much time either way. But yeah, we're going to enter our big safari habitat filled with mainly Jurassic animals. I think only Jurassic animals actually, the majority from Jurassic North America, with a couple from Jurassic China as well. So here we go, we're entering it now. And this habitat is going to contain some of my favourite dinosaurs currently in the game, of course thanks to some new mods. And very quickly we're seeing some of our smaller herbivores. We see a Dryosaurus just over there walking around. We have a very, very large herd of Dryosaurus in this habitat. They're just kind of all over the place, and they make up the bulk of the smaller habitat dinosaurs here. So yeah, it's very cool seeing them everywhere, and it's just really, really nice. Over there in the distance, of course, you can see kind of the stars of the show here, which are our big sauropods. We have, of course, the Apatosaurus made by Jagged Fang Designs, and it is stunning. It is a beautiful dinosaur. Hopefully we'll get a closer look as we go along, but if not, of course, we can have a closer look after the tour is complete. That one specifically with the green skin, I think, looks so stunning. Just absolutely beautiful as a sauropod dinosaur. Here's a Dryosaurus just walking right next to the vehicle, which is super cute. As we go along, you may also notice we have some Stegosauruses in the distance. They're again just a base game Stegosaurus with the skins from the Return to Jurassic Park DLC, which did come out towards the end of last year, and I think was probably the last DLC we'll receive. Still following along with this track, we can still view the Apatosaurus now with the Innovation Center in the distance. Really good. Oh my god, okay. That Dryosaurus just ran us over a little bit, but it's okay. We're all good, we're back on track. That does happen sometimes on these tours, but that's all good. Anyways, we're back on track and continuing our tour through this habitat.
Like other
and yeah, that's pretty much about it for this habitat. No, we're not actually done. We do have more dinosaurs to look at. There are 2 more species which we haven't seen yet. Here, I think our truck is a little bit stalled. I'm sure they'll get it back on track in a second. I think we're waiting for these Dryosaurus to pass. They must have just flocked this way. That's a little bit of a reference there to first Jurassic Park if you didn't catch it. You know, it's probably a bad reference if I had to explain it, but you know what I mean. Anyways, ahead you see more of the Apatosauruses as well. These are the grey-skinned ones, which of course kind of represent the female variety. Great thing about the skin system in the game is that it's really easy to kind of simulate sexual dimorphism without having actual different sexes of dinosaurs. So that's, I think, a really nice thing to do, to have a more naturalistic looking habitat. Anyways, we keep going forward here, and this is pretty cool. We're going to be going right alongside the whole herd of Apatosauruses, all walking the same way. Here we go, have a really close look at one of them, and this really shows you the scale of these animals. That is quite beautiful. Just seeing them like this, that is really something. That's so cool. And there's one right in front of us which is completely blocking our path. Oh, that's so funny. I don't even know if we'll be able to move past this guy because he's completely blocking us. because he's having a little munch, which is actually pretty cool. We're gonna have to get a pretty close view of them eating up some foliage up there. That is so lovely. Anyways, I think this tour is going to take a while to complete, so let's get out of the vehicle, and instead we'll just go and hunt down our last 2 dinosaurs via this camera mode. And here, first up, we do have our first of the last few dinosaurs, the Chunkingosaurus. Of course, the base game dinosaur and one of my personal favorite stegosaurs in the game. I think my favorite would probably be the Huayangosaurus, but Chunkingosaurus is pretty cool too. Lovely coloration, very nice just to have as an additional stegosaur. And coming up at the end, we also see a few more of these Apatosaurus and our final sauropod, which are the 2 Camarosauruses. Here you can see the 2 of them. This one has its head in the trees, but you can still see its lovely coloration and how beautiful it is as a dinosaur. Again, by Jagged Fang Designs, really beautiful model, really beautiful coloration, really great mod to have overall. To have a look at its head, let's look at this one, who doesn't have its head in the trees, so that's good. Again, very, very lovely dinosaur, very glad to have it in the park. And yeah, that is it for Matanceros Emergent Biopark. I do hope you've enjoyed the series. It's been a bit of a short one. Definitely wasn't as popular as my last Jurassic World series, which was Nublar Emergent Biopark. That one got quite a lot of good feedback, and personally I did prefer that one as well. So if you want to check out kind of a better version of this, basically, do check out that version. I do like Matanceros Emergent Biopark, but it is smaller in scale and just doesn't have quite as much variety to it, and doesn't have that kind of like organization that I had for Nublar Emergent Biopark. With that one, of course, each habitat was split into like formations, into where they were based. We had a lot more mods to showcase there. We had a lot more like experimental stuff as well. So that's quite an interesting park, but I like this one as well. This is kind of like a more chill park, more kind of laid back version, which is more focused on just, you know, showcasing some new mods, just kind of enjoying the dinosaurs, of course, having fun with some new terrain, that sort of stuff. So it's a very chill park, and I did enjoy building it. I do hope you guys have enjoyed watching it as well. And I'm not really sure where Jurassic World Evolution is going to go from here. Of course, I don't think we are going to get any more new DLC. But I don't know, you know, what's coming next, of course. Like, who knows what we could get. And of course, the modding scene is still very much alive. And while it has taken a bit of a break recently, I don't think we're getting that many new mods. I think eventually we will start seeing more mods come in. And when they do, I would love to showcase them on the channel as well. So yeah. Again, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll be continuing with some Planet Zoo later this week, and as always, I just want to say, well, I've said it several times, but I'm just going to say it again. Thanks for your support, thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.